start recording button is not the same as the start virtual camera button. And if you get that reference, you maybe watch the podcast this is from. I don't know why I did this full rollout. We never do this for Boko. Yeah, it's the three of us. Commentary here. Mastio's AWOL because episode 21's where he's going to be actually in Boko.
In the US, we would be like the telecom provider AT&T. That's fun. Anyway, we're here from Digimon. Not bad. There's nothing. I have no joke.
Yeah, we're doing.
I used all the funny on the funniest deck list I ever saw. I'm still thinking about Dorbekmon.
Yeah.
Yellow of all time?
Yep, yellow of all time.
Do you still have the note handy? I don't have one saved on my computer for how we do this.
Yeah, normally that's how I do it. Normally that is how I do it. Notepad and AWOL for. Oh no, we're good.
Hell yeah, we're in there. So Terry, welcome to the top 5 best worth yellow cards. This is really exciting because for people who don't have the deep lore, this was actually one of the first things we wanted to make. Terry was originally scheduled for the first time we were going to do these, and then just everything fell through, and it was very unfortunate. Our timing we did not salvage that schedule. So then Terry's life became busy, and we just had to move this one around. So we're finally doing the yellow top 5, bottom 5, and it's hype.
Ooh. Yes, for Digimon, and then after that we can do tamers, and we can do options, and we've started doing more interesting Boko. People have said they like it, so especially if you remember, please tell us what sort of content you want to see. That's what we want to make.
How many colors have we done now? We've done black, blue, red, purple. No purple?
I think we've done purple. I think we've
Purple's
done
the last one.
Yellow, purple. Because Terry could have been easily on either of them, I think was the idea.
So true. We'll talk about purple down the line then, gang. So there's no structure. We're in Boko land. Can I just rip a couple no-brainers to you guys? Because I feel like the thing with this one that's going to be challenging is, I just said before we started recording, that it feels like a lot of the things that I think about yellow are that like I can recognize the good yellow cards more prominently than on a lot of the other colors, but their bad cards feel like tough to separate.
That's because yellow has the thing of like from BT like 4 onwards, it's been normally your level 3s, fantastic standalone cards. Your level 6s, decent boss monsters. Everything in between, well,
yeah, that's real actually. There's like, I mean, the thing that's frustrating too is that like if you're only like I would say a semi-recent addition to the Digimon TCG space, welcome, thanks for being here. But also you might have thoughts on yellow and like that it's like an obnoxious broken color and it's too good and blah blah blah. And it's like yellow had that for like a couple months and then it had nothing for a while. And then it got Patamon and things picked up. And I feel like that maybe is the place I would like to start, is BT14 Patamon. I don't know if you guys are.
That was definitely one of the best. Like it revitalized yellow strategies. Like
just like singularly too.
Yeah. Despite the fact that I hate when it whiffs, and I sometimes rage quit playing him for a while when it happens, it's still like the card that lets you get back into the game. It's disgusting like how good it is for what it is. Because like the funny part as well is that when you look at all of his other counterparts, typically it's like, oh, they would involve like having a tame or the effects is bad. This standalone is like, oh, that's fine, just skip 2 levels, gain the memory, draw. Like, it's just definitely one of the best cards of all time. I think they'll find it very hard to power creep this one.
We have joked about it at the end of every single Boko when we go, oh, how funny is the ban list? This is actually the one. So when you, a free or, not champion member goes, why did you waste a slot on Patamon? He's on the ban list. You should have paid for it. And then you would have been there with us and the other cool people, champion or above, who would have gone, yeah, Patamon is probably, definitely, easily top 5. And is not going to be, this is the first time I think that we don't have a Digimon on the ban list for the color.
That's not true. We're WarGreymon BT13.
He is
He's
yellow.
the only one.
Yeah, unlucky.
I believe he's the only one, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Jet's still fake.
Ignore me. Just completely ignore anything that I
So
just said.
for clarity,
Sorry, no,
are on the ban list cards also in contention for the top?
Well, they go in a special row, but I was trying to do a joke when we didn't pretend she was real.
That, just still not real.
Did? Oh, there was the other joke. That's how long this has been in the works. The other joke that me and Marcia were coming up with, just wind up Terry, is we just picked the 5 yellow secret rares and just refused to acknowledge Patamon for the whole video and just be like, yep, Banglongmon is one of the best yellow cards of all time, and just keep going from there.
I think my weird things, I'll have such a weird perspective on this because, like, for example, one of the best yellow cards of all time for me, if you also know me, would be BT4 WarGreymon, because that card to me was like one of the things that made yellow faster. Getting it was the first time you can get like the double checks. It gave you a resource. It was the first time you could, I think, properly continuously do minus 60,000 DP. And I think he formed the base for like other yellow cards to come. For example, my new favorite replacement for him, the Horseman, Centarumon himself. So like, I think this generally like made BT4, made yellow a strong contender for
It's pretty interesting as well, because training is like Lord Knight with training crazy. Like Lord Knight's probably going to be a card that we'll talk about.
Yeah, he's on here, don't worry.
Yeah, Lord Knight has to be.
Maybe WarGreymon.
Of all time, that we can't double dip on archetypes. This is the problem. Patamon is stupid, but Patamon nukes our own rules because every other busted, stupid, degenerate yellow vaccine card is now unpickable. Goodbye, Angemon Ace. See you later.
But
like, this is the thing. I think, like, for me, the way I always think of the best cards are the cards that set trends for yellow further. So, like, Lord Grey and Lord Nightmon have set the trend. So, like, Lord Knight's spiritual successor to me is like Diminimon in this kind of essence, because he's just like, I'm gonna call the boys out. We're gonna have a good time. You know, it's just kind of thing.
WarGreymon is crazy. I look at this card as like a benchmark for deletion-based deck. Like, I'm a Gatomon guy. People know this. WarGreymon is like, he's part of the reason that there's an understanding that a 6k Digimon is the biggest little guy. Like, this card is foundational to our understanding of like what kind of defensive lines are worth playing. Because if it didn't out WarGreymon, what was the point? So really dope card. Legacy status for sure.
Yeah, we do have an honorable mention section. So if Lord Knight ends up like, you know.
Yeah, I love this Digimon.
This guy's
and I personally prefer WarGreymon to KnTElixar aesthetically, but like
I think the thing for me is that I would put Warg definitely here, because I still think it's not the best thing, but Warg is always sort of still playable to me. Like, he's still 6k, get a card back, double check. Like, it's hard to like say that it's a bad card. Lord Knight isn't awful, but it's just always dependent on the other cards, I think, around it. Whereas I think Wargrey standalone does much more on its own.
I think it's also uniquely buffed by current things. Like, before, like, you famously with Sukamon do not swing unless you have jamming, but like barrier is a thing that yellow just has as a generic inherent now, and of trainings like a 3 evo cost is a perfectly normal evo cost. But evolving into Wargrey for 1 and then swinging twice with barrier and being able to add a card, maybe get memory back or anything like that, like, WarGreymon will get better the more ways that the 11k DP isn't like an instant death sentence to security. So I think he's a sick pick. And also, we as we do more of these, we kind of come up with more reasons to justify old cards. Like the introduction of Jambo, which is like legacy.
Yeah, he loved his old head stuff. We gave a lot of kudos to, I mean, Blue Hybrid is probably the best blue deck of all time, so it did need to get something. But like, we picked Kori Kakumon, I think. So it's like, is he the best blue card ever right now? No, obviously not.
I think WarGreymon is getting higher than 5th, so I'm just gonna lock him in nice and early.
Yeah,
I like him here because I aesthetically prefer him to KnTElixar, and in the lore, he's a cool one. He also represents the only inclusion of my all-time favorite Digimon in the entirety of the TCG, which is his intended line of support level 4 is Orange Data Growlmon.
Oh yeah, I remember being so annoyed about that. Like, it's sort of like what I remember the dreams of the yellow Gatomon eventually appearing, but it's
So
still pretty cool.
hypothetically, it's supposed to turn into medieval Gatomon. So I've kind of like I don't speak into my ability to manifest bad juju for myself with Gatomon cards lately has been unparalleled. So I'm trying not to manifest too much here. But if we're gonna get a new Crimson mode as a prominent guy in Shoto Kazuma's deck, I would go so far. Sorry, not Crimson mode. Medieval Gatomon as the prominent card in Shoto Kazuma's deck. His original line is the Data Growlmon line. So that would be cool. Maybe like a red-green Data Growlmon and red-green Data WarGreymon. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. Those wouldn't even be yellow cards. So that's where that's at. But yeah, kudos to WarGreymon. Aesthetically dope, conceptually dope. I think this the thing that the kudos you get for being a main character guy does a lot for you in terms of like your cards getting like love as an archetype down the line, and they just happen to move it to Royal Knight stuff, which is tight. So they did a good job.
You know what?
Guys, can I offer up a stinker?
Yeah,
it's a yellow deck I'm personally attached to in a lot of ways. I cry every night for BT734's Philmon.
Oh, the Rasenmon line that just
Yeah, wait.
It's spelled Filmon. That's Philmon. This card, so the whole deck is if you don't know, maybe it's worth looking at Rasenmon really quickly as well. If you don't know, this is a Digiburst deck. It's the last like true blue Digiburst deck as well. And Rasenmon is so sick. I adore this design. It is one of my favorite Digimon aesthetically they've ever created.
Well, the art is really great.
It's unbelievable. He's so soft. He's like a hedgehog cowboy, like with a Ronin kind of thing, where he has like a dark form. It's so sick. They couldn't have made it cooler. This is like an all-timer for me. And his gimmick is really fun because in BT7, a lot of the format's vulnerable points were the other than WarGreymon, the one of who was immune to DB-, this deck's gimmick is that it digibursts to shrink people, which is like in BT7, it was pretty powerful because you can digiburst up to 4 to apply it multiple times. So Rasenmon's like, oh my god, here's his super special move, was that he could digiburst 4 times to collectively -3/-3, shrink some like a 6k hybrid, and then do it again to a second 6k hybrid. That was his like power turn. It was so cool. But it turns out Digiburst sucks. It sucks so bad, especially when Rasenmon's cool idea of digibursting constantly is like entirely predicated on you maintaining enough cards to do the Digiburst 4 combo. And Philmon at level 4 requires you to Digiburst your 3 and egg and give something second to egg -2. It's awful. It's the thing with Philmon is that he can then refresh it, so you can go evolve into Steffelmon.
Steffelmon is actually like Marcio and I genuinely looked at like this is a tech card and certain things. They're just like you could hard slam a 4, load any 2 like inherits underneath, and draw 2. It just seems like a very powerful effect, but like
it's not there.
It's not quite there yet.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, like this, it does a lot of terms of like it's like the design space on this card is awesome, and it's how you refresh your 4 sources for Rasenmon. But you know what's easier than doing that? It's just not digibursting your garbage level 4 the first time, and minus security, -2ing something, and instead just going cheap evos all the way up, or like in the case that you and I cooked up, Terry and I were doing Sylphimon. It's like the red yellow DNA stuff, because that was just a great way to get a lot of sources. So
what's interesting as well was like we talked about it in the main episode, like Hacker Judge and like yellow purple hybrids being able to slot stuff like non-committal yellow hybrid, and then Steffelmon over that is another way to get sources non-committal, and it's not doing this. The funny thing as well is like this doing sec -2 means it's also actively working, not just for the Digiburst thing, but it's actively working against the make your Rasenmon cheaper, because Rasenmon's Digivolution cost comes down based on how many security you have. So if you're sec -2ing something, you are.
The intent is also that you'll go into Fury mode for the fixed cost of 3. I've got one on my desk right now, actually. But it's a complicated time. He is mono purple if you're looking, Andrew, so it becomes even more sad because we couldn't even train him for him. Yeah, it's cool. I just, one day this deck will get something cool. Maybe the next time he features in something. I believe Harrismon himself showed up in Ghost Game for like an episode, so that's pretty cool. But like one day my Cowboy Hedgehog will get some love.
Yeah,
What do you think, Terry? How does this rank up? Is this sort of in your ballpark for bad yellow cards?
Oh, like it's definitely one of the bad ones. It's definitely gonna be on there. I don't think it's the worst.
Yeah.
Like
I think the fact that it does something.
yeah, it's definitely not the worst. Like there's so many things I could pick here. I think. Oh, this is. I've been so starved for good cards, and it's definitely showing. I think like one of the weirdest ones for me is where is she? So there's the Ophanimon from BT2.
Ooh, what a pick!
So her only effect is just to on-DigimonTCG place her on the top of my security stack face down. And I'm like, so first of all, if she doesn't die, this is just like it feels so weird. And if she does die, it's like this is BT2, it doesn't matter. Like it's rookie, some guy's gonna rookie rush me down. It doesn't care what it is. It's just like it does nothing. It has the audacity to cost 3. I don't like you can go back down. Like I think there's like hold on, there's like where is it? There's my main man, like the BT, I think it's like BT5 like GG mod that at least has the like
yeah
wherewithal to cost 2 and on deletion just recover a random card. Like the BT2 Ophanimon has just been power crept by an old man with a beard. Like it's just definitely for me one of the worst.
What's funny about the Ophanimon as well is it's not just like power crept by the old man, but I think if it did on Body did, where it's like, oh, when it would be deleted, put this top card, because then it'd be like emissary support, but you could just like keep looping the same level 6, but instead you just like, okay, your whole stack's gone.
Yeah, it's not good.
Like genuinely for me, I think it's one of the worst like cards like yellow has. It's just not great.
I've got another banger from the worst set yellow ever had, if you guys are interested. So, and we don't normally do back-to-back consecutive dump ones, but I really want to include this one now before I forget, because it is maybe the greatest offender of yellow having no flavor for a couple of years, which is AncientKazemon from BT7. BT7 42 AncientKazemon.
Choice. Perfect choice.
This card is like, it's like doing somebody else's badly designed Excel tax document. There's nothing in it. There's no spark of fun or joy in any way. I don't enjoy a single thing about this card. Some people like to joke for a little while that it was as though AncientKazemon and Jet Sylphimon had their When Digivolvings mixed up. Because like, how in God's name could they have ever produced a card that was this poor on a yellow level 6 when it so desperately needed something after Lord Nightmon?
It's just everything. The cost 5, the plus 4,000 DP security is almost irrelevant because again, like
useless.
It just doesn't do anything. Like I would have even accepted if they decided, okay, thematically we made your security large for the bottom end. We can make, I don't know, your opponent's security less. I could have even accepted like the minus 4,000 to your opponent's
like
security because like, yeah, like because like at least for yellow, you're typically at like always 1k DP under the threshold for living most times. So like I can at least see that, but this just generally doesn't do anything. Of like even all the ancients, I'm like this is the worst. I at least played like ancient Sphinxmon occasionally because at least does something, but like
yeah, the gap between this one and the rest of the ancients is enormous, and it doesn't get another chance at it because the second one that printed is red and green. So the ancient BT7 AncientKazemon is I legit think this could be a top 2er. Like I think it's
yeah, I would agree. Let's see what for.
Did we have ancient Volcamon on the list? I feel like the ancients are like the biggest disparity of like that. Oh, we wanted to give one to everyone, but you can tell who they designed and who was like, oh shit, we need to give this color.
Well, yeah, the first 2 being printed in BT4 helped them a lot. Let's see.
For good ones.
I don't think the ancients. I mean, I have so many good ones, so I want to hear Terry's first.
So, let's see. So one of them for me will be for a rookie that isn't Patamon, is the promo Pulsemon.
Ooh, banger pick.
because like again, it's that it will be.
He was Pulsemon support. He was Lord Knight support. This card is great.
It was just the thing. It was in a time like early game gives you cycle, late game gives you memory. Like it was a really good card. Like that was, I would say, like worth its slightly bigger price tag at the time when it was out.
Mhm.
Again, a little doesn't see much play today because we've obviously got like a bit faster, or like it's maybe not as many decks that are like leaning towards playing things out for free, like things like this out for free. But generally, it's one of the like iconic yellow cards that I think is definitely be considered one of the best.
Don't you have this in your Pulsemon thing that like free plays off of Plymon to make like stupidly
Like I
zero
put it in as a one-of just because it gives me the memory, but it could potentially give me the memory back so I can keep turn. So like,
both mem boost and stuff use this too.
yeah, as well. So like it's definitely, I think, one of the better ones. Like this is the sort of thing I think I'm basically only going to be flip-flopping between rookies and like megas at this point.
Okay, well, with that said, I can give you one that's not a rookie or a mega. I did think about this. There are... Oh, hang on. So obviously we're not talking about WarGreymon because he's restricted. We're not talking about Veemon because she's restricted. And with all of that made as a point, there are 2 teddy bears I want to talk about.
Oh, that's a good point.
And there are a couple angels that we could talk about. One that I think broadly different enough from Yellow Vaccine.
Remember, we also like it's actually one of the. Usually we get it just out of the way at the beginning. We get our eggs and our aces and our ban list done, but this was one where we've kind of left those open. So those.
Yeah, we'll come back. Well, it's a tough call in yellow. That's a real challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monzaemon X. I people are gonna be mad. And I'm sure, because this is like, it's not a real yellow deck. Like, Numemon deviated so far from where it was supposed to be, I think. Like, even for what Bandai, I think, thought it would do, that it's a tough thing to talk about. I am personally of the opinion that just purely out of its archetype, just as a card, Monzaemon RB1 is stronger. But with the presence of the Ukomons and, like, never having an off turn, it's hard to say that Monza X isn't more powerful in a format. But Monzaemon RB1 kind of is a house. Like it's so good it could have been an SR, it feels like at times.
I think it does the both of yellow's key things of like sec minus and DP reduction.
Yep.
It doesn't do recovery, but I think if they did that, I'm like, that's just overtuned.
The Shin Monze does, and they just don't have to play it because that archetype is too fast now. Yeah, that's the crazy part.
I also think the reason I like Monzaemon is that it feels like really good support for like the archetype, which yellow again typically struggled with, because again, like this is this is definitely like, well, I don't know, like the Armour Purge one, was a bit weird.
5-cost rookies that
that still do well, but they've designed it for their archetype well, and I think that's a better thing because they actually took into consideration the actual design that they wanted to go for. Like again, like this was just a precursor to the Gatomon Varodurumon. You know, it's all like they sort of got there.
Yeah, EX5 Gatomon is also on my list, so I'm sure we'll talk about him.
But like definitely, I can see it being one of the greatest, like a really good card because it does everything I think I would want a yellow card to do for me personally. It gives, well, to its line, set +1. It gives you a bit of defense, a bit of offense in terms of like aggressive shrinking. Like I generally think it's definitely be up there. Like
it's even kind of got like we sort of joke about it because it's like if we talked about on the green episode where we were like if what's he called? If Agatarmon had come out like 1 or 2 sets later, he would have also had an on play. Because like archetype 5s that have powerful on plays kind of became a staple after a little while, so you could like circumvent some rebuild. Like the Monze has that too. Like it does the whole thing.
As much as I would love to put Monze X, like these cards all being single color as well it's so relevant when like some of the counterplay is based on how many colors you have. As much as I would love to put Monze X, I think that card is terribly designed. Like as far as X antibody cards go, it's like
it's belligerent. I'm not gonna hold you.
Everything wrong. Like not needing the Monze or X antibody source to get the shrink is just
Just gross.
it's just wrong. Like they have fucked up with this card, but like there's just text everywhere. 2 on plays when digivolving, sec -1, -3k, inherit.
Inherit.
I was gonna say like the proto form allows Monzae, like you can go without this card, or you could go like Waru Monzae, but they don't. Like most of the
But you
time.
get like one of the things this card does, thanks to its on play, is it frame traps you with Platinum Numemon, so like it turns into a 2 memory steal.
Yeah, and it also like it either loads a Nume X Lamau, or it loads a blocker. Like the amount of games I've seen where it's like, congratulations, you cleared the Nume. They didn't float into 300 thing, but they gave you 4 memory because they slammed Monzae, check -1 thing, and they're gonna block the other thing because there's 2 Nume that just have native Tron Monzaes.
But I definitely think it's really one of the best cards because it's just, as you just basically described, it's a very versatile card for an archetype. It's like, I don't see this Monzaemon, like Monzae X is quite a problem card. But this Monzae, for me, I don't see it as a problem card. It's just very solid support and well designed for its actual archetype.
It is the entire price of your RB1 fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also like, I think it says a lot about the quality of RB1 Monzae in particular, that in the beatdown aggro deck, like broadly token aggro, the deck doesn't play the Armor Purge one. Because like the value from RB1 Monzae is higher in that sense, because like it offers you a more flexible game plan. Yeah, it would not be inconceivable for me to see a world where without Ukomons, part of their game plan is swing Armor Purge and then protoform into Monzae X and hope to build a board that way. But like, I mean, it's not the balance talk. We're talking about yellow cards here. But like, I believe there to be a case for Monzaemon being a stronger card in a vacuum and in the context of its own archetype. Also, this one's a puppet and it does better in the puppet pile with like Arisa cards. So like, there's some stuff there too. It's very powerful. Like Andrew and Terry just said, it's like you can buy your box RB1 for him.
I think I definitely put it down there.
It's
a consideration at least.
Yeah, we don't have to order till the end. I think we should, whilst we're just talking about Numemon, let's just get Gatomon out of the way.
Yeah, he is one of my 2 remaining 5s we're going to talk about. I think there's a serious chance this is the strongest level 5 in the game.
Yeah, at the time of its launch, card was doo-doo, but it was not the best.
We hadn't put it outside of its own deck yet.
Yeah, because there was no reason.
Yeah, why would you without, like, what were you going to put on top of it? Baihumon and Azulongmon? Like,
yeah,
Black,
I mean...
No WarGreymon Ace?
Yeah, it was WarGreymon Ace.
Yeah. No, thank you.
It's actually, it is pretty strong, and, like, the thing that's weird about it as well, like, we're always focused on, like, the taunt effect, which is always fairly weird, but the fact that, like, I know that it requires, like, well, it's inheritable to me is also still pretty good because it lets you potentially net advantage. It doesn't matter because when you're Edamon Valking someone, they're not swinging again, realistically. But it's still a very interesting, like, I think it's inheritable itself is also just really good. Just imagine like spitting out, I don't know, like, I think I joked about it once where it'd be like, oh, I spit out, I don't know, the Pulsemon we just talked about. Anyway, thank you for, I want 2 security, and thank you for the free memory, you know, like, so you've been turn skipped as what, you've been turn skipped by -5, you've been turn skipped by this as well. Like, there's just a lot of application there, I think.
And also,
I think the fact that it's optional is crazy. Like, so many decks don't get, like, Sukamon as an archetype is a really fun deck. If I was gonna ever learn a like true blue control deck, it's the deck that most appeals to me personally. And I really like dig the idea that like it was afforded flexibility and like, do I use my Sukamons from the top deck or not? Like, am I holding on to certain things? Because this deck can find black play cost yellow Digimon with 3 or less, it's safe from needing to abuse Suka's Curse, because Suka's Curse only counts as a Sukamon and it doesn't have a play cost, it's an option. So like there's a lot of like powerful stuff you can't, like it's clear that in archetype there's some thought to this.
Yeah,
and
I think
it just is getting stolen and abused.
If this card didn't have an Evo cost, then it would be slightly more in tune. Like if it was, you could only evolve over Sukas and there was just no generic level 4 Evo cost, then that might be really interesting, because The other problem this deck had is in Nume, where you have the police Numemon. You just have native blocker. You don't have to be a Monzae name, which would mean that sometimes that they don't even have to have it. They're just going to spend 4 memory to make sure you stay in raising, because why would you commit your stack out if it's going to get Etavel? And they just block it. And they're like, oh yeah, I didn't have it. I just needed this body gone. Because the -3 is relevant. Like 7k is a decent enough number that you swing over non-megs.
Yep. It trades with everything. That card's too efficient. But again, like, I don't think we're saying anything most people don't agree with. It's it's frustrating because it's kind of escaped its parameters a little bit.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, the first of the best memory you can spend will have come out, and I'm going to be real with you. That entire idea for that little series that we're starting on is because of this card. Is this the best 7 memory that you can spend in the Digimon card game? You'll find out when we do the video, but I just want to put it out there. Like, that idea came from me staring at this card and being mad about it for like 15 minutes. And I was like, yeah, content.
I got one more level 5 to talk about. I'm sure you guys know where I'm going. I would like to highlight BT1060 MagnaAngemon.
So again, this is another one when people go, why are you wasting a slot when on the ban list? Not yet. We're really unhappy.
I think this one can be here. I would obviously have talked about MagnaAnge Ace. I think he's very powerful, but I do believe he's probably still too close to the yellow vaccine Patamon stuff that I think like yes, it's a Setcon all-star, but like this card's a Hellscythe target.
That's what's also really interesting about like our rules is usually we do per Evo line, which would technically disqualify MagnaAngemon, but not Angelwomon Ace. Like if you're looking at canon Evo lines, but yellow vaccine pile. Interesting.
He's still a mall.
Yeah, like yellow vaccines everywhere, and this card got down.
I mean, it's this, and I guess things like Sylphie are the cards that made them think maybe we should have probably put a cap on the when you can recover. Like, I mean, they still do it now. Like the new like 4 Great Dragons. Like, I'll just keep on getting recovery. It's funny, but like this was the card I think. Unconditional recovery, even though I think is as a tactic is garbage, it still keeps you in the game in prolonged games, and that's something that, to be fair, can't really be understated. Like, yellow is one of the few decks that have the privilege of like, well, you're gonna kill me, well now you're not. I can keep going. I'll keep going. Yeah. And this was like one of the strongest proponents of that.
I would argue it's been prepped or isn't as relevant, but like Tom said, like it's a Hellscythe target, so you can have 4 of them, and then all of your Hellscythes are also Holy Wave.
That's the thing, like that's what frustrates me. We talked about the card forever. It's my all-time least favorite card in Digimon. I despise it. The problem is that none of it was intelligently designed, because it's a relic of an old game plan that like just nobody complains about SR Zudomon. Some people don't know he exists. But like the philosophy of those like on play 5s from those first 2 BT sets, it's not been held forward in a meaningful way. But this card snuck in because it is over and over again able to prove that recovery +1, which like Andrew said is a Holy Wave, that's a 6 memory option card, is not as good as having a 6k body stuck to your Holy Wave for 1 more, or your Hellscythe being a Holy Wave and a 6k body. And then like it incrementally interacts with like different game mechanics. So this is a ace target now. This is a thing Dominimon can produce out of security. Like there's so much stuff that this card's lack of future proofing is not considered, and it's not just evident in that they have attempted to build more interesting ways to do recovery +1. Like, if you're dying to spend 7-ish memory to get your numbers up, they've got an ace for you that goes up to 6 security, and Ophanimon, Seraphimon ace just straight up recovers 1, and Seraphimon from 14 straight up recovers 1. So there's a lot of like proactive stuff in here that they have printed if you just want to heal. This card, a years old super rare that does not like, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Like, there are so many parts of like SetCon that could be made more interesting by playing more proactive pieces and not going, yay, I opened it and now, or like if you've the way that your game plan changes when the first check against SetCon is this card is the worst gameplay experience you can have in Digimon, because now it's just awful.
It's that or Purple Kari. Like, I was gonna say, like, the 7 memory doesn't feel efficient anymore. Like, it feels like bad memory spend when you can recover +1 for 4. Fucking Rev of Light exists. Like, that was gonna be the talking point. But the more we talked about, it's like, no, these cards still allow you to produce a MagnaAngemon, basically.
He's 7 with no overflow. That's the other thing. So when he's the free thing you spit out off the Hell Scythe, he's valuable. And when he's spat out off the Dominimon, he's valuable. Like, popping Angemon Ace is still very strong because you can take the 3 back. He has no trade-off. There's no... You're out of interaction points when he starts to play. That's the problem. I just, I loathe SetCon. I want them to do a couple things to it to maybe make it more interesting. But that's how it is. And not necessarily suggesting this is the strongest yellow card of all time. But it won Worlds, and it's the oldest card on this list by a lot. And I think those 2 points together make you have to look at it in a certain lens. Maybe a lens that Bandai R&D don't want to look at it in.
I think for another strongest pick for me at level 4, it has to actually go to the beat. So it is. Where are you? I'm just going. It is BT15. 037.
Oh, is this Gatomon?
Yep.
Hell
100%.
yeah.
It is, like, I remember reading, the thing is, for me to say this is one of the better cards, because I remember reading it, and my immediate response when I read this was like, the effects need to be, should have been switched. Like, in my mind, the inherit should have been the memory gain, and then, like, this just having barrier was, like, fine. But the more that I play it, in whatever deck that I do, I'm like, this is just solid support, because it's really functionally quite weird, because you can get a chip with it. It's the first, like, yellow... Okay, there's a point where I used to play, like, BT1 Centarumon because it had jamming,
Yellow jamming,
right?
yeah.
Yellow jamming. But, like, this is now giving you the point where you actually feel okay swinging at, like, level 4 with yellow, because as long as I hit something, I burn a security, I gain a memory from that exchange, which is accelerating my game plan, giving me an extra resource to use, and then giving my bigger guys barrier, which again this fundamentally changed the way that you could play yellow, like being afraid of your opponent's security. Now I'm much more likely to just go, well, I have it now, I can swing, I can just do what I need to. But I think it's very important that it's on the fact that it's a level 4 that gave barrier, because like they did it before with, I think, like the loader Leomon that has like at 5, but I feel like it's just not allowing you to be proactive enough. And I think it's just generally been very broken. Again, tied with Padmon, absolutely insane. 2 memory gain just out of the door, but like I think this card fundamentally changed the way you can aggress with yellow, and I think that's why I'd probably put it in like the top 5 as well.
Misao called this the secret sauce in his winning Mastermon list from EX6. Like, there are some...
Really relevant as well.
Yeah, it's just so good. I remember this distinctly. It's one of my first times I remembered that Terry built decks in ways that just I couldn't clock on to fast enough unless I asked all my questions. Because I lost an event at I want to say it was EX4 Store Champs at Fanboy 3, when I played against you, and no, it must not have been EX4. You were on Sukamon. I checked a Meigumon in security and died for it. And I was like, particularly debilitating effect for this card to come out of security when I check it. At least I'll never do something like that when I burn a security. And, we're not going to spend all day talking about the synergies with Blinding Ray, but as a Gatomon guy, I have thoughts on the BT15 yellow cards, and they're not all appropriate for the internet content. If I lose again to Last Check Kari on my Crimson mode, I'm going to jump into traffic. Into traffic, Terry.
It happened so many funny times. Like Odin's Breath, Last Check, Gatomon burned it. I'm like, I'm back in the game, baby. Let's go.
It's getting kicked in the nuts over and over again. It's unbelievable. I get what the Beelzebub players are mad about.
Yeah, this one's sick.
But yeah, great pick on Gatomon. This one has the pedigree, man. This is I mean, everyone knows about Patamon, but like some people I feel like just don't acknowledge how strong this is in quite a few archetypes, and like always kind of boggles the mind. It's a very good yellow staple.
I think the problem is that barrier makes security go down, and not all yellow players are woke like our man Terry, and they go, "Oh, my number went down. Cause bad." Anyways, here's 7 recovery.
I have another bad one if you guys are interested. Obviously, that has concluded my list of not megas and rookies, so I'm sorry to break the trend.
Stinkies.
I'd like to nominate BT449 Varodurumon, which I always thought was weird that they didn't call him Valdermon.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's Digiverse 3.
It's called so crusty that even the Digiverse is crusty.
Yeah, it feels like he's out of color, but this really is the scan of him. I checked the wiki too. That's just what he looks like on there.
You know what's worse?
Uh-huh.
His option is Purge Shine, which is just better.
Incredible, right?
Which is just better, because I didn't realize it until the time that even now reading that it was a global effect. We had a global effect at BT4.
4K wasn't irrelevant back then either.
Oh wait, sorry. For the turn. I swear I read that. I swear there was a card here that did it differently.
Well, I think it's because Purge Shine popping out of security in theory kills the new maze, and also if you're using it proactively in Sakuya, which is what you were abusing it in, you'd still it still put the electric fence down for them to then float straight back into, which was relevant. But
so in comes Varodurumon, who is in every way now worse than WarGreymon is. Like, the stupid dumb part of this is that to evolve all the way up to the 6, or to use his play cost and find a way to give him sources, no matter what, I would always choose let WarGreymon give him overflow. Like, there's no point where I don't prefer this. So the card, there's not often cases of like objectively terrible power creep, and I think there's something about this where it's like, you know, birds are an archetype again now. Like, there's green birds, there's red birds, there's even purple birds if you're me. One day they'll print more things that can interact with that. Yes, sir. They go with cigarette pigeon. It's beautiful.
The worst part about this as well, I guess, like, I think this is based on the design's philosophy as well, where they gave yellow everything was disposable, because your level 3 was like, all right, whatever, it'd probably be like the Star Deck Patamon. Your level 4 was whatever you want. It would be Terriermon or like Pitomon at the time. Those are your options, my guy. That's it. There's nothing good. So like, I can get whether maybe we're like, well, if you're gonna think they're useless anyway, you might as well just get rid of them. But like, when you make an option that is almost like pretty much similar that could save you in the same set, it's just gonna be pretty low. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we're also pretty close to the 5 here. I want to see if I can find one more
of terrible ones. It's so tough. It feels like we're splitting hairs. I had thought maybe that there are some cases for like they're not great, because even like some of the BT6 yellow stuff, like the things that immediately followed Lord Knight, were kind of bad. Like the Wizardmon Inherit is like a card gets burned, gain 1, and like it was like intended Dynasmon support. But like alongside Dynast, they printed the Mammothmon, and like these cards are borderline vanillas. Like they're not winning any recipes for like wow you cooked here.
So yeah, some of them not good. I mean, shooting Starmon is Ophanimon.
Okay, I kind of like, listen. The context is important on all cards named Starmon. Do you know about the option card?
No.
Meteor Shower.
Meteor Shower free plays anything with Starmon.
Oh right. Right, so with Starmon in its name, right.
Without paying the memory cost. So all Starmon Digimon can cost 3.
I see.
So there are some points where I think we just have to give the context to these cards. I'm like, you know, if I was going to pick a Starmon rep for this list, it would be the little guy for a good card. But like, my point was that like BT6 had some clunky crap. I'm a big hater on Babamon from BT6, Mammothmon from BT6.
I think my thing with those ones are just like, they are meant to be vanillas, but they decided to give them an inheritable. Centarumon, I actually do feel like for me is an underrated pick.
Yeah,
it's just like, I think generally the big thing that lets it down is they decided, all right, we're not going to give it an inheritable, but like just be able to trash a card and cycle, especially as we're getting into more and more like dual color-esque things. I think is very useful as a card. It's also that's the thing. I wanted to play a copy of my puppet because it's also a puppet in like
Central?
the like Shumon sort of central thing is like an option because they, like you're playing the dual color like some of the like dual color like chesspawn pieces or something. But I think the one that actually annoys me the most as a card is BT11-039. It's Centarumon.
Okay, I thought it might
Oh,
have been.
that's a pick. This card's ass. you can.
No,
grief
that one's
the board.
bad. This one's the bad one.
What on
This
earth?
card sucks. I lost to this is not a bit. I lost to somebody playing this where they put the security Gatomon into their security with this card, and I got griefed by that. That was bad.
It's like I could see the argument for the card, but like every time I look at it, it's like, so you're telling me to neg one to put this to the top of my security, and unless I'm already it's because I think the design of this is functionally based on the fact that we have like what, two actual security, like three security rookies, I think, for yellow properly, like the Meiku, the Ankylomon, which I count as actual ones because they play themselves. You have the pseudo one of the Leomon from like EX1, which is just like whatever, and then you have Gatomon as like the fourth
intended
one.
Yeah, like that's the best one probably.
Best one. But again, like I think the thing is this card is just too situational because like if I've built my first stack, all right, I've maybe put a rookie down. Am I really going to give up the advantage of the rookie that might have like lived a check to go, wow, I get one security and my opponent knows what it does and it does nothing else. It feels just like it just doesn't do anything. If it blanket recover, like this just could have been if this was a recover one inherit, like I don't know, you had less security, it'd be much more effective as a card. But like there's no real reason to give up advantage like this.
I think especially for the time it was made, like BT11, like what yellow stuff were you wanting to put in security?
Or cards for Monzaemon.
It's like cards, but Moste does that itself. It's like there's no logical like. It's typing as well. If you wanted to go for the like Mosteimon argument as well, it's awful because it's like a data, so you don't get any like really like useful like things from that as well. And what annoys me even more, I think, if you like arguably if it was a one attacking effect and you could do it like something is fine. Like if you go to like if you type in like BT3 like 041, so that's BT3 Truemon. If this card, if the Centarumon had this effect, I think it would have been. I think all right, fair enough, it would have been better. Like you get to do an aggro check, put something to the top of your security. Sure, it may have died, but you've basically like you've gained security. Your opponent's lost one. You've at least built some advantage there. Maybe if they had a barrier here, whatever. But like this just feels like what that card could have been. Something just better than negging yourself for no reason.
Yes.
Yeah, I dig it.
It's a terrible card. It's a really good pick. That beats the pants off Mammothmon. So, fellas, I want to run you through. I'm trying to trim the fat off the last of my stuff. I'm willing to take off Angemon Ace. I think she's not necessary. Like, especially if we've already included Gatomon, I think it's a hard pick to include her.
Well,
again.
I mean,
She's
we do
very
actually
strong.
need to lock in a yellow ace.
I mean, then. Well, I don't even think it could be the best yellow ace, though. Like, I mean, I guess given the context of what's out right now, sure.
If I was given the context of what's out right now, and if I had to go that it is purely yellow, like
mono yellow, yeah.
Mono yellow.
It can be two color.
Okay, then it's Valk.
It would just straight up be Valk. But like, I think in terms of mono yellow for me, it's like actually like I will give Angemon Ace the edge. Only because, well, Valk, I know, is through Blast Digivolving, you can do the -5 on your opponent's turn. Like, Angemon, like, apart from WarGreymon Ruin Mode, which also might be a pick for a card.
Yeah, it's coming, don't worry.
Is like, it's one of the few cards that persist. It's one of the first few ones that actually persist the DP through to your opponent's turn, along with like the new MagnaAngemon, and that is generally been important because it has made so many matchups so much easier for yellow than it should be. Bugs, well, if you're -6 until the end of my turn, fine. Magna, you're shrunk down a bit. All right, cool. I can do it. It makes that fundamental change of being one of the first cards of being able to actually keep the DP minus to persist, especially on a like 4-drop body that costs you basically nothing, as well as the recover each time. I generally think I would put it as the best ace.
Yeah, I
at
was
least
gonna
from
ask
that
whether like
perspective.
Serafi, Ophanimon, or Cherubi was like one of my like contentious picks that I was gonna put. Like Cherubi ace seems like really.
Ruby's the best one of the three.
Cherubi is the better one of those ones. Like, I think Cherubi is like, from a purely standalone, if I couldn't do colored aces, I still think it has to go to Valk, because standalone it does the most to me. Like, because like Cherubi ace requires you to have the piece in hand. Like the Ophani is the -8, which is kind of cool. It's like it's Angelmon, but like a little bigger.
This card is so funny to me. I maintain that if this was the first time that they committed to doing like the other Lightfang Nightclaw tamers, that this card would have been exceptionally viable as the representative for Lightfang Ophanimon.
Yes.
But like, she just isn't tagged, so she's not as good. Like, it's super frustrating.
Like, I think these are all really cool, but like, I think between me, Ophani and Valk are basically similar. They're like, it's what like Valk is just better because it's AoE, and like it just also pushes aggression, which I think just edges it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see that. I do really like Angelmon Ace though as like lingering value. Obviously the BT14 aces, here's your instant value, then it's done. Whereas this was like the longer I stick around, the longer I'm going to be a nuisance.
Well, it's consistent in terms of as well, like it keeps you in the game, but it's also it lets me just never neg. Like there's moments where I would choose to like evolve into Patamon, not take a card out of my not put a card into my hand because I'm not losing the hand. I don't want to lose the hand advantage, and it's fine. Angelmon's got my back. Slap another card in there. It's fine. It's like I think it's just been the most versatile ace to me as a pure yellow one. So I'd probably put it as the best ace, because MagnaAngemon to me is like, it's my least favorite. I admit that it stops me from dying, but it's I guess it technically scales with more security, but I feel like you're always going to be at less than more. Yeah, whereas the consistency of Angelmon Ace is always like nice unless I'm at 0. So
I can hang with that. I think it's a good pick.
A good pick.
Ooh, best yellow egg.
Oh, yes. It's so hard. I had to look through them before.
I have 2 picks. Okay, so one of them is funny because it doesn't actually relate to yellow in any way. Sorry, 3. So one is funny because it doesn't relate to yellow. It's the Starmon for Crossheart.
The Pigmons? Yeah, the Pigmon for Crossheart. I'm so glad you said that. I agree entirely. This card is incredible for that.
It's nothing. It's not like, obviously it doesn't do anything for the actual like yellow, but it's just really good.
God knows what they're gonna do with the next the next Crossheart egg, because like do you guys know there's a second Crossheart Digitama? They don't play it.
Oh, this one? Oh, it's not even.
No, he's not even tagged. It's the drum guy, I think. It's a red Digi egg. Yeah. There is a second egg for them, so very stupid.
Well.
I thought.
Or maybe I'm bugging.
It might be. I think. Wait, what set was that dubbing Marilyn in?
This one's.
He's BT. He's BT10. Be sick. I might be bugging.
Oh, I think this is the weird. No, but I think they might have been like one of the weird eggs, because it was the same set that Crossheart like came out in.
I mean, yeah, while a non-red Digimon is in Digivolution cards, that would fit Crossheart 10.
Oh, sorry, I was bugging. It was Monzaemon.
Oh.
BT10 Monzaemon is the other one, not the drum.
Yes, the one that only works for Twilight.
It works. It has crossheart.
It has cross-art tag, but its inherit is only for Twilight Digimon.
Pheromon, go.
My second egg, and I think it'll be like my thing is my egg choices. I think be controversial because most people go, well, it's clearly the like the BT14 Tokomon, and I'm like, yes, but
There's a bunch of good yellow eggs.
Kyaromon to me,
Kyaromon.
because of my play, is just the best one. Inheritable jamming from whatever you remove a security is just like, god damn.
Okay, I hear you. I can't in my head get over BT. What is he? 7 BBmon, 6 BBmon.
Oh, BBmon was also there, but like, but like, I think the only thing that kills it is like the exact 3 is just so difficult to maintain.
Pulsemon is a deck that lives and dies on it, but in exchange, it's a memory egg.
Like,
and then obviously the new one exists too in 17, which is incredible.
You know what? Just honorable mentions to the BT7 Pulsemon as well, because when you get that perfect swing 3 memory, like you're like, oh, I love this. I think once I managed to do it through I think that was I did it with on a Mastodon build once, where I put that Pulsemon in. I would swing with jamming, gain 2 DNA, swing again, gain 2 more memory, and it was like, oh, so beautiful.
I think that's it. I would give Terry the Kyaromon. It was one of the ones I was thinking of for the egg. To be fair,
like
I was also thinking of Veemon.
Yeah, I think Vixie's gonna be.
Vixie, I think, would be my number 1 pick because it, for me, is the least, especially now how the game is developed as well, it is sort of more like the least situational of it, because you'll probably be like, we're getting more options that are like the trainings, the boost, the scrambles. We're getting more utility options that are going to be cheap, and like, I think just that consistent draw power will always be kind of useful, because not every yellow deck removes a card from security, not every yellow deck gains a memory, but like, it most likely in your build you will be playing like options to help with your consistency.
I love it.
Yellow's not one that draws a lot. It like tries to recover and then try and cheat from there. So like just having natural draw is incredibly relevant. I mean, this also, we talk about results. As a world championship, like both it and Pikmon have a world championship, but one of them is a real yellow egg.
All right, boys. This has been a distinctly different way to approach this because I feel like yellow is really hard to go through these. So I actually still have 5 cards that I really could not. I tried to whittle this list down as much as I can. So I really need you. I'm gonna dump them all out, and we'll keep 2 or something, because there's an obvious one. One of them is Ruin Mode.
Yep.
He's here. I can't believe we saved purple and yellow for last. It's so funny. This is one of the most broken cards they've ever printed. I mean, this card has won me, like, it has won me official event matches in Mill. Like, it shouldn't exist. It's so deeply broken. I'm glad we included him here because despite being a vaccine, I wanted to make sure Shine got its flowers somewhere. Shine is the coolest beatdown yellow deck they've ever made, in my opinion. Pulsemon coming soon. But Ruin Mode feels, I mean, we don't have to sell people on Ruin Mode, right? Like, just put it in the list. So my other 4 in order are Venusmon BT1042, Lord Nightmon BT545. I don't think we have on the list yet, do we?
No, we mentioned him.
Yep. Shadow Serafi EX450 and Quantumon LM20. Yeah, so those are my last yellow picks for the for this particular suggestion. I don't think we could ever choose all 5 of those to really make candidates out of, but yeah. Oh, and I have an honorable mention. I do want to actually include Starmons from like BT6. Because like if you didn't play the D-Reaper format, that card is from hell.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
But yeah, so let's see. Depends on what you guys think. I think Shadow Serafi and Venus probably edge out Quantumon a little bit, mostly off the back of having better archetypes to play with. Like Shadow Serafi is a house for Setcon, also viable in Angels. Venusmon maybe the strongest yellow level 6. Tough to say.
I think Venus is. I think the thing is like Venus will always. I think like there's always a consideration for Venus. I think in any list you do,
So
even as a
proactive.
one of.
She's so proactive.
And I think one of my things, I'll put it in the top card because it's the greatest yellow card to put down in front of your opponent and watch the all reading comprehension just go away. Like, just not like, or explaining that how the card works to someone and they still try to do something. I'm like,
Gotcha.
It's
I will say one caveat is it is an opponent's turn effect.
Yeah, it does lose to aces.
This card was designed before aces, and like that is the one time that they get away with it. And I think that like I think she would have been like a really huge contender for #1, but like I feel like she like it plateaus at 3 simply because there is a mechanic in the game that does ignore her.
I can see her being at 3 because she's I can see her being at 3, but I also remember like the part of the reason I also chose to play Sukamon for Sulfur was that if I got Venusmon,
you could pause it.
It didn't even pause it. It didn't matter. None of my inherits were one attacking effects.
Oh yeah,
they're all just based on me using options. So I just killed it. I was like,
as long as a Pulsemon still does 1 check, my your turn kills her. I'll never take out On-Play Gatomon because of this card, so that's where I'm at. I personally think she's that good.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Stevens is a funny yellow vaccine matchup because of this card, though. That's a particularly tight way to play your afternoon.
I think EX4 Ruin. I think Ruin mode has to just kind of go at the top, because like there is no person who's there's no person who's ever been ruin moded and been this is fine. There's been every person who's never been ruin moded and they're gonna learn today, and they will sit there, reread the card and go, nah. Like
sometimes he costs nothing off a Marcus swing, and that's where like that's not the most egregious stuff you can do with it, but like it's just it represents so much like power in so few words that like it kind of blows your mind.
It's sort of the idea that you can potentially put down a -10 blanket. If it's something that still survived the -10 blanket, you blow it up to kill the other thing just in case. And if you're lucky enough to have a tamer on board, well, I'm also just this is the ultimate I'm not dying yet card. Like I know we've talked about like it only has recovery, but this is like even if you had a chance, you're like I could be at 0 security, whatever, but you're not getting through this blanket, my guy, and I'm killing you next turn. The fact that it even does I guess what I want to call the Uko, flip an egg over, get ready for the next turn. It's the ultimate turn skip, and I think that is just something that if the card gets banned of it, there's something you'll always remember. Like, it's the ultimate pause button.
Yeah, I was going to argue that this card sees more play in purple deck. Like, obviously ignoring Shy, but like as far as generic thing, like it's like Death X. It's like, oh, well, if you're playing purple, throw that shit in there. But like the most egregious part of it is the yellow half. The -5 is what skips turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good that LM4 existed to reproduce this card in higher quantities. Like, that's a status very few decks can ever claim to have, never mind single copy secret rares.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to put it, save a spot and put it on the purple list, like, the yellow half is the reason that this deck is
we'll just give it an honorable mention on purple.
Yeah. But yeah.
Does Padmon have to come in on second, I think? If we're putting Ruin Mode first.
That's tough, actually. I'll give you that. I'll give you it second place.
I think it has to go in second because, again, I think for me, looking at the way all these cards and everything fundamentally changed how yellow played, and I think that is always important to me, to judge how good it is.
Yeah, this card's a game changer.
It's the reason that GeoGrey's on the ban list, right? Besides Marcus Hybrid.
Because it's frustrating too, right? Because I know there are cards. Like we're all thinking about cards. For when people see this and they comment, we're not being dumb. Like it's obvious that we're not mentioning both Rapidmons. It's complicated because the actual economy of figuring out where the power things lie is different now. Like yes, Rapidmon carried yellow hybrid all those months ago, but like the reason that they're good now in yellow vaccine armor is Patamon. Like you can't separate that causality. So
yeah, all the power, like before, Rapidmon is a tech that you'd play that you knew cost you 4, that you probably pass turn on, but it's there to help you clear out situations. Now it's just a stepping stone. The actual effect is sometimes irrelevant to me. It's just the fact that you go, oh, here's my free body.
Also, the Rapidmons are only good because they then turn into MagnaAngemon, because MagnaAngemon is improperly written. Like, if you could only turn into the Rapid X, I don't think Rapidmon would see nearly as much play, and that's really apparent in the way that the deck that has 3 Rapidmons for only Rapidmon X doesn't perform nearly as well. Like, the Rapidmons being 4 cost, like Terry said, huge tech, it was a commitment, but you were using it for a specific purpose, and then that's where your line ended. Probably.
Yep.
Probably.
It's a hiccup. I don't know. They'll figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, this card, it's got like a level of warp where it's like,
It is game warping, but I really do think a lot of people's frustration with Yellow Vex, a lot of the format feels like Choice Restrict would do a lot more than just outright killing certain decks. And like we've talked about this on the show before, you know, I am in camp, send Ukomon, like, you know, send that Ukomon to space the way the Soviets sent the dogs, don't bring it back. But like, additionally, there are cases for keeping Patamon because they've just built the deck around it. So like, choice restrict it with Magna, choice restrict it with a Rapid. Like, there are a lot of things you can do to keep this kind of like, obviously that's a little less clear and easy than just like, this card's restricted, because like you explain that to somebody who doesn't really know, it's a different thing.
I mean, the only other way they could technically solve the Patamon problem is to do the weird Yu-Gi-Oh route where you'll just
semi-restrict.
You just errata a card. It's like, anyway, so Patamon needs specifically like TK and the TK Tamer to actually get the full like effect.
Yeah, the Agumon needs you to have tie. I always thought that was weird.
Like the Gabumon lets you do something additional if you have the mat. Like, I think this is the issue. Is like, if you link it to the TK, at least it means you have to commit to the full engine. Whereas this, now you can just play the Patamon. If it whiffs, it's inheritable. It's still generic enough to where it doesn't matter. If you link it to the TK, at least it means that you have to get the value. You have to commit to playing. Okay, like, if we had to, for example, again, top tamer is always just going to be TK. If that is an option, top tamer is TK. Like, you'd have to play playing the memory fixer, obviously, that lets you set up, but like, at least you're giving your opponent like at least, here's the first 4 memory for free. All right, my guy, here's the first 4 memory for free, and then the rest of it, well, you know, you had a good run. Or you have to play you have to commit to actually playing Yellow Vaccine as a bit more to make sure you have enough pieces to load with the BT14. Because, for example, I saw I think it was like a Digimon list where he was playing Lord Knight, and this was the bottom end because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, as I just need a way to accelerate up, but so you don't have to really commit. You're just doing it to like go for it. I think he did play TK, but it was like 1 or 2 of like, I think that would be the only way to balance the card. But ignoring all of that, I still think it's like this. It's the second best card, definitely yellow card they've ever made, like 100%.
I'm good with that.
And again, when people see this and go, it's on the ban list, we wish it was on the ban list when we recorded.
And it feels like a cop-out, but like, despite all the honorable mentions, I think the 4th like best one has to actually be BT14 Angemon for me, because not only is it like it lets you do the things that I said that may change people for yellow. It aggroes, it recovers, it sets up your next aggro, your next push, and it fundamentally made an unwinnable matchup the most easy thing in the world.
Nice.
Machine Jabon, go to the bottom. It's fine. It's done. You're cooked. It's like,
that is very fair. Unfortunately, we do have rules on this show, and the rules are that
it's no
line.
Because trust, there's a real world where we have Patamon, let's put Secret Angemon, and you know what, we really do hate Security MagnaAngemon. I'll throw that bad boy up there as well.
You know what? Let's remove Shadow Serafi. That is broadly speaking the Evo line. That will, I think, omit him. Oh, dude. Yeah, that was the problem with the red. We just kept picking Greymons.
Yeah. And like WarGreymon could have been any of the Alphamon. Like, so.
Throw me a bone here, boys. Venus at third seems really strong. It feels like like the first three there are just like really incredible picks. And they're incredible because they're also splash pieces. Like Ruin Mode goes in random stuff, Patamon goes in random stuff, Venusmon goes in random stuff. I think that to me suggests that it would probably be like Gatomon because he's been stolen.
Yeah, I could say like, well, this is the thing. I think there was I think fundamentally when
I don't know.
I think the thing is Gatomon is there because Etamon's power ceiling only scales much higher with whatever ace that comes out. Like Val always has a ceiling.
Yeah.
Etamon does not.
Yeah, you're right, because he will be the thing that abuses the Shadow Serafi ace in 5 months.
That is the problem.
I just think it's
if we'd gotten this one done sooner, I think our list would look so different because we wouldn't have Etamon.
We got better at doing these.
Like Etamon,
we used to pick bad stuff.
I mean, we always have one thing that's going to make someone bad. It's going to be this time. It's going to be BT4 Wargrey.
Yeah.
But Etamon.
I mean, I could have made it worse. Mine would have been
BT.
beat EX 5 Rapamon for me.
Oh, dude, we didn't even put Tamamon on here. There are so many cool yellow level 6s now.
Oh yeah, they've definitely based it up. But like, I think Etamon can definitely take the fourth slot because like, it's just so good.
I'm so upset. I desperately hate this card, and I think this card, if it wasn't for the fact that it sets up for aces, I think this card ass. I think it was one of the worst Etamons for Etasuka. Like, obviously, yes, if you were able to go into the Metal Etamon, you did have that big tempo turn. But I thought this card was trash. But
dude,
man, does it have an exorbitant amount of tops.
I think I love yellow. I keep looking at these cards and being like, I forgot this dope thing. I forgot this dope thing. And I just like it's such a challenge.
If you'd started in BT8 and didn't have to play into yellow hybrid to fight for your fucking life every Wednesday, I think you could have been a yellow player.
I think I would have been a good shine player.
I think this is my thing with yellow is like it's always going to. I'm not going to sit here and go like DP minus is not disgusting, but
good.
Like,
removal should be strong.
I'm not saying that's not disgusting. You're gonna load up the video, aren't you? But like,
what's it at now? Like 11k? Oh, that's the Digicross one's at 11k.
I think the fact that they've now, I think the biggest thing is that the design philosophy for yellow that sucked was that from BT 1 to like 3, it was sort of like slow attritional kind of games, and then BT4 to BT5, it was we're checking you for. We're going to be a bit more aggressive, either by letting you put bodies on board, letting you swarm. Then BT7 hit us right back to just people going to like, well, we just recover and slow it down, and SecCon and stuff happened. But I think yellow has grown better as a color because they've allowed you to just be more proactive in what you do with it. And I think that's always what I've enjoyed. Like the little mind puzzle of going, well, there's an entire board here, and how can I reduce it all to 0? It's always been the thing that has made me like really enjoy the color. Like it's just, or even little things like doing -2k to make sure that if you block me, your guy dies, or like I can maybe like force out a few things. It's been really cool.
I'm too bad at math to play this deck or this color, so that will kind of put me down. I'll stick with my red glue eating.
Nah, but like Tom, you can't live until you go KnTElixar burn Revelation of Light, and it's the most beautiful feeling in the world.
At the Evo Cup when you aced into Angemon Ace and it just burned, it blind burned Rev. That shit was so funny.
Did we rank the bottom 5?
We did not.
I take intense listen. I don't always put my foot down here, but these are not equally created bad cards. AncientKazemon's the worst card in yellow by such an enormous margin that I just really want to make sure we're square on this, right?
Yeah.
Like, she might be 0 and we just skip 1 and then we'll do 2, 3, 4, 5. She's awful. There's nothing I like about this card.
She's bad because you don't have the excuse of old card bad. Ophanimon's old card bad. But BT Kazemon, they knew what they were doing. They made it really good.
I think
There's
the least offensive. I think the actual least offensive this one to me is Varodurumon, because it at least still does -4K to everything. Will it come up sometimes? You might clear a board of rookies. I think it has technically the most useful effect.
Sure. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
It's really hard between these 3 crappers, dude. I think Centarumon's better on the merit of being like, no, he's a data type, isn't he? He just sucks. Yeah, God.
He sucks, but like I think the weird,
like suckiest.
I think the weird line in this is like, I think Ophanimon is going to be second because only on the principle that, at least with this Pulsemon and the Centarumon, you can at least actively choose to use their effects to do so. The BT2 one, there are some moments where it's like you'll just like, oh, I'll just swing it in. It's, you know, I can see it being like, if someone ever played this in BT2, it'd be the Eyesbond like scatter mode problem. It just always has jabbing in the situations where you want it to actually die. And it's in yellow where you had no inherent way to blow up your own thing. So it was like, well, I guess you're just stuck here.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I'm thinking Ophanimon in second, Centarumon in third, Pulsemon in fourth. I think they are.
I think I'm happy with that order.
Yeah,
I think they're pretty terrible though.
Centarumon's a data sucks because yellow is just in the vice grip of vaccine or nothing.
Hey, the new Candlemon searches datas. He's seen some splash
I think
in what's it called, Sakuya.
Oh yeah, the new data searcher is really cool, but I think like data is also I like the fact that they're giving you more color support like that. Like, I'm very excited to see it. I'm very actually excited, even if it's not going to be like a top tier contender. I'm really excited to do the new data support because I think it's genuinely like the most me-coded like deck ever.
We can't salvage how many dope yellow 6s and higher are missing, but I want people to know that we didn't bring Terry on here and threaten him to not mention his Sukuyamon. I think they just all have to be mentions because they're cool. And then I want to go on record. Can I get the Miicam for a second?
Well, it doesn't work with three people.
Oh, that's fine. Never mind. I just want to go on record and say that I don't think there's a single thing about Fanglongmon that is noteworthy balance-wise in any direction, and that he's exactly where you should be, in the back of your mind and not thinking about him, so that when I bring it to Glasgow and I win the event on it, you'll have forgotten it's a deck.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It was only ever going to come up if we committed to the 5 secret rares joke.
He's entirely balanced.
Yeah. Card's good.
Card's good. There's nothing notable about it. No further analysis necessary. He's the perfect 5 out of 10. Nothing to say.
Right. Yeah, that locks in our list. I've added the X2 Sukuyamon alongside the honorable mentions will be Armour Monzaemon, of course.
Yep.
If anything, it's excluded from the list because Edamont took its slot.
Yeah, kind of.
BT15 Gatomon, Pulsemon, and then EX2 Sukuyamon because she is just the goat. I'm not going.
Yeah, like some people would say Kuzaha, but I just don't care. It's our list, and I like Sakuya better.
Well, it's more just like, again, it's one of the few moments where her effect is just not once per turn.
It's so cool.
As long as you can keep slinging, you can keep going. Also, to be fair, she's again another reason is she's again one of Yellow's freest unsuspends. It costs you nothing to unsuspend anything, like any of your Digimon as well. I think the memeiest thing I've done is unsuspended a Gatomon to use it again. It was really funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
It's funny because Yellow doesn't really have a lot of once per turns on its when attacking us because they kind of just continuously forget EXT Sakuya can.
The WarGreymon drop 2 Pulsemons, gain 2 drop Pulsemon, gain a memory, drop a Bushy. Oh, beautiful times.
Yeah, thanks Terry for coming on. Another banger hour-long Boko. This is what people are paying for. Hope you all enjoy. And if you're seeing this a month late,
I'm happy to be here, and I'm hoping this is convincing people to go, yes, yellow has some bullshit, but it also has some really cool cards as well.
Yes, you could be the next cool yellow player. And you should, I mean, it'll probably been floating over its head a bunch, but like, yeah, PGSC, where the cool yellow players hang out.
Yeah,
that's where Terry is.
Try to make some more lists. Like, I have so many cool things on the back burner, and I really want to like explore more yellow things. Like, there might be the idea of doing a Yellow Brick Road series where I just try some of the worst, like digs of yellow. You're gonna see me play Rasenmon. I might try those like Raziel. Like, there will be definitely some interesting options to try.
Buddy, I would give
cards on the bad list.
Yeah, I would do, in no uncertain terms, drastically terrible things to help you make a video on how can we fix Rasenmon. That would be so much fun. I love that deck.
Bandai I actually want Bandai to bring back Digiburst, the Digiburst mechanic. I think it was really cool, and like,
so
it's cool in its own archetypes. I'm a little sick of Nidhogg. I'm a little sick of Nidhogg.
Yeah. The thing about Digiburst is like, when I like, obviously it takes a lot of time to do these video essays. The DP- one didn't do as well, like Cross one, which is a reason that, you know, it's been a while since, you know, there's been any headway on that. But Digiburst is technically the next one. But the boys and I are now working on something that will do much better.
Yeah, we got a series, baby.
Yeah, so
hey, this is for like channel members.
Yeah.
So like, we're not gonna let anything go, but like, I said on the last podcast episode that I wanted to know your 3 least favorite Digimon. But if you're in here and you're paying behind the paywall, we appreciate you. Let us know your favorite guy that gets mostly yellow cards, just out of curiosity. That'd be cool.
All right. Also, if you made it this far, I don't know, drop like a cheese emoji. That's how we know that you've made it.
Cheese.
Yeah, yellow.
That's yellow.
Cheese is yellow, I guess.
It's the cheesiest color. Hell yeah. Is this gonna be out for members before the tournament, or is there any point in plugging that? I never know.
It will be out for the tournament for members. So
all right, members, you'll get a discount if you're at the prerequisite level. You get a discount on the event because you're watching this.
Yeah.
So Limitless TCG, or it's play.limitless.tcg. You can find us there. No, wait, what am I talking about? It's not .tcg. It's play.limitlesstcg.com. You can search for us. It's Misplay for game. Or you can check out all of the other videos, like the really great ad that Andrew made that also features in the daily
which
Digimon.
None of you see because all of you are on the ad-free version. But like,
I hear enough of. Listen, I watch both of them, and I know there's enough other members who see my comments on the no ads ones that we must all also watch the ad one as well, right? Like, that's just how it works.
No, some of them are just like, I see their comments only on the ad-free ones. Those people are not trying to see ads.
That's
I respect
real.
it. That's what you're paying for.
That's peak.
But yeah, if you're in the UK, come to the event. I'll even have new member sleeves in addition to your participation. So they'll have like link on them. They'll be dark, so you won't get deck checks on them like the first set were. So it'll be cool.
Hey, good times.
But yeah, thanks again for joining us for the Boko. We're gonna try and be more consistent on getting Boko out. Champion tier is the highest represented tier out of all of them. So we will be making more content for y'all. It's gonna be a pre-recorded episode on Friday, and be doing other. If you like the best 0, 1, 2, 3, Terry, we're gonna be doing something very different. And you will have no context for it, but yeah, we'll be doing something very different for the Boko next week. Yeah, thanks for joining me, fellas.
Happy to be here, big dog.
Bye.
See you later.